What is happening, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, it is episode, I think Josh had said 197 here at Staggered Stance. This episode is presented none other than Disc Golf 978. Check them out over at discgolf978.com. They have awesome stuff, free shipping over $25. All your disc golf needs. If you're a tournament director, hit them up. If you're an amateur that's played in one of their tournaments before, hit them up because you probably got some money sitting in the portal somewhere. Use our code. We love 978. They also got custom apparel, tons of awesome things happening over at Disc Golf 978. And if you're local to the New England area, head over to Meadowbrook Orchards and go buy some discs at Disc Golf 978, which is in the same exact spot now. You pay your greens fee with them. You get to buy new discs. And if you lose one, go get 3 more. Tell them Nick said to get 3 more. So anyways, how is everyone doing on this awesome Monday night?
I'm doing good.
Very good. We started late. We started
super
late.
Enthusiastic. No, like definitely doing great. I mean, like complain about weather in New England. It is like hot now. Again, Nick, you're in Florida. I know it. And we were just talking about June. So you'll see Matt's not on the show 2 weeks in a row. Think we can make it 3, everybody? We'll see.
Oh, we might.
The reason I mentioned is he's down at Junior Worlds with 2 of his boys, so we probably won't talk much Junior Worlds this week, but good luck to all the players there. I think they've already been having long drive contests and other skills challenges, maybe doubles events, but it's 102 degrees right now. At like, what time zone are they in? Like, it's probably like 6 p.m. Eastern. 102. Yeah. So kids, stay cool. Hydrate. I think the temperature's supposed to drop by Wednesday to a cool 87 or 88 degrees. But hey, in New England, it's like mid 90s and humid, and that maybe doesn't compare, but it's still hot.
Oh yeah, hot is hot, and hot is just hot. It's just hot. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Hot is hot.
Well,
baby.
Thankfully, I've got an air-conditioned house, and Nick, I assume you're doing some work on the course and enjoying the Florida humidity also.
Yeah, I wore a gray shirt today, and within about 10 minutes of running a weed whacker, it was a black shirt just due to all the sweat. It's actually
gray.
Pretty gross.
Yeah. No, but things are good. I mean, it's obviously full steam ahead in like the disc golf season as well. So I don't know, are any of you actually playing disc golf? I'm putting you on the spot. I'll be the first to volunteer and say I haven't been. I watch a lot. I don't play as much.
I play all the time, or at least I try to. But yeah, pretty much as much as I can, playing tournaments still. And
I'd say you had like an event this weekend. Was there something at Maple Hill?
Yeah, Hooligan Disc Flex. I did a flex with Hooligan Disc in Maple Hill. It was on Diamonds, and it was a great time. I came in 3rd. I shot +1, so nice. Not bad, but not great. But I'll take it. It was one of the worst off the tee performances of my life, and I don't know how I even still shot +1, so I'll take it.
Hey, take that advice from all these players we interview week in and week out. You can tell it's all the mental game, Ben. So when you get that figured out, you'll probably nail it.
Well, my putting was great because I stopped thinking about my putt. I was just like, look at a chain. I don't care. Just throw it in. And I hit every putt. That's why I played well. What were you saying, Evan? Sorry.
Yeah, I've been just trying to say +1 on Diamonds is a fantastic score. So don't beat yourself up, Ben.
Thank you.
I'm sure you could have done better. But hey, like that's the sport we play. Is you always can do better. It's about doing what you can.
+1 for sure.
And +1, hey, that's a fine score.
Not bad at all.
I also played. I mean, your question, Josh, was disc golf in general, which I play a limited amount, but was able to play a tournament this weekend, which was very exciting. I mean, it was at a fun course. It was at a Christmas tree farm in Massachusetts.
Maple Hill.
But it was not Maple Hill. It was Allen Tree Farm out in Western Mass. So a cool spot. The course is fairly new to the public, but I was playing in a tournament myself. And, you know, as far as expectations on where you want to finish, I say average is good. And, man, did I qualify for that. Finished 8 out of 15. Seven people finished better than me. 7 people finished worse than me in my division. So, you know what? I could say there's lots of things I could do better, but I can't complain. It was hot too. I was struggling. The heat got to me, but I was drinking so much water and you know, I got through the round, but I was definitely like, you know, tired. I don't know, all the normal things of, you know, trying to survive through the round, you know, not trying to like get too ambitious and just be like, you know what, like decent is good on those types of days.
Yeah, I have not played in a little while. I played a tournament back in May with some friends from Virginia, and then I'm debating on going up to one again in Virginia soon, but I haven't quite figured out if I want to do that yet. But I don't know. My excuse is I work on a disc golf course all day and I wear jeans and boots, and by the end of the day, I'm sweaty, feel disgusting, and I'm usually pretty tired. So I like to come back to my apartment. I take a shower, and then if I have enough time, I like to go golfing right now. I've been super into golf this year. And if I don't have enough time, then I either read a book or play some Overwatch to the end of the night. And then I do it all again the next day. So, yeah.
Hey, well, I hear there's a really big event happening in Virginia in August, Nick. So, you could try to compete in that.
I need to request time off so I can get up to that event. I'm hoping.
Yeah. We're sneaking up on that. So, I mean,
just hit up your boss or bosses and see if you can get it off now.
I got to hit up the bosses. Usually Dylan's a little bit nicer about those. He's like, yeah, go for it. Do your thing. He's like, you want to go to Cactus Rock this weekend? Go for it. And I'm like, all right, sounds good.
Yeah. Who's your other boss? Why is he such a stickler?
Yeah, I know, right? He's just like, no, you got to get stuff done on the course. And I'm like, yeah, what can I say?
Yeah.
No, they're both
perfectionist, right?
Yeah, they're both incredible. Whenever I've asked for something, they've been like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And I'm like, all right, bet. So
speaking of majors, we're 1 week away from a major, but we just had another great European event, Krokhol Open. So, Evan, you prepared to give us a rundown of what we saw overseas? It's overseas for us, obviously for them. We're in their home.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly is a context type of situation. Although someplace in Europe, it's across an ocean or a very wide peninsula to get there. If you're Central Europe, you're crossing a sea, or you have to go all the way, I think, through Russia to get a loop around there to Oslo, Norway, which is the home of the Krokhol Open. We've seen this event in the past, but this is the first time we've seen it as an Elite Series event. Very cool to see at a highly rated course. Incredibly beautiful out there. I mean, the nature of the Nordics, Scandinavia, and Norway specifically, absolutely top notch. And as far as I'm aware, this course is on a I think active still golf course, or maybe recently not active, but either way, it plays through some open shots, plays through some wooded shots, has some elevation, has some non-elevation throws, like a little bit of everything. A ton of fun to watch. We saw it on the PDGA Euro Tour last year. Now it's talking about it. Bradley Williams won it last year in MPO, but we had a pretty full slate of players playing in this one as an Elite Series event and the lead up to the European Open coming this week. In an MPO, we saw Mr. Richard Wysocki get yet another win of the season, his second and first over in Europe of the year. Notably, he went bogey free and really dominated the field. I mean, he came out firing in round one. It got maybe a little bit close in round three, but it still felt like it was all Ricky getting the win here. He goes bogey free. He also led in birdie percentage. He going bogey free, you have to go 100% scramble if you have an opportunity. He does that. He leads in so many of the driving categories, and this is maybe the most dominating win we've seen in MPO this year. That's definitely up for debate, but I'll at least throw it out there as a possibility. And it's a good time for Ricky to be looking really solid. He goes into a major next week, one where I'm sure he desperately wants to win. He's on a little bit of a drought without a major win, going back to 2017 being his last major title. He always does well at the majors, just looking for that win, but he gets a win to lead it up at the Krokhol Open. So Josh, I'll go over to you first. Just Ricky dominating, like, what'd you take away from this?
Yeah, I'd be curious what other event maybe competes for more dominating. I mean, I guess he didn't throw the hot round in the final round, but he also had such a lead that he didn't have to, and still, threw an incredible score. So Yeah, I mean, Ricky has long been known for using the word momentum. That's a thing for him. And when he, in this, if you just look at it within the context of this event, he got momentum early and just kept on, right, cruising. And he has a skill set to do that, so we're not totally shocked. But when you put 3 rounds together like that, and talk about a prime time heading into a major. So, yeah, it was exciting to see that. It's pretty impressive when you look at the scores. Jakub Simrad kind of pushing right behind, but I mean, that's just too much to track down when somebody's throwing, I don't even remember right now, like 13, 12, and 10, somewhere in that range, round by round. All right, so close. I guess that's that 8 that he underwhelming 8. A little bit not quite as nice weather maybe in the final round. But anyway, yeah, like so Ricky looks great. I don't think we can say he's having a sneaky good season anymore. I think some people were saying that before because if you looked at the standings, and sneaky's a stretch, but like now, right, kind of hitting on all cylinders. I don't know. See if Ricky he's on a major drought, if it's fair to say that, right, for like 7 years maybe. So here we go. Can he ride this momentum? But great playing on an awesome looking course. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
This was an event rating of a 1081 for Ricky. That's unofficial as of now, but should be somewhere in that ballpark, which is an incredibly high event rating. It's as of now, it's ties the 4th best winners event rating. It's up there for best of all time. Not quite at the top, but very, very, very good. Anything above 1080 is unreal, and I can't even fathom it. And as you're saying, sneaky season, he's up to a pretty solidified 2nd place in the Disc Golf Pro Tour standings. He still trails Gannon Buhr by a little over 40 points, but 40 points is a lot, especially where to the part of the season where drops are starting to come in. So there's not as many points to be gained because you got to drop a different finish when you're gaining more points. But at the same time, like a little over 40 points, like that's what a 1st place and compared to like a 15th or so. So you think that could happen, Wysocki winning and Buhr. I mean, although 15th for Buhr would be one of his worst in the season, but still, that's not a ton of points and something that can be made up with the rest of the season. Josh, you mentioned Jakub Simrad. He finished in 2nd place. And then in 3rd place, we have Vino Makala to round up a 2 out of 3 European podium. And then also with Niklas Antala finishing tied for 4th. To have a overloaded Europeans at the top. I mean, not to be unexpected from a European Elite Series event, but also with so many Americans making the trip over, really impressive to see them getting such good finishes. And then Joseph Anderson rounds out that top 5. Definitely not the sneaky season. We've all seen him having an explosion to be really I think arguably a top 10 player in the world this season. He's sitting in 10th in Disc Golf Pro Tour points right now, just ahead of Isaac Robinson, the world champion from last year. So quite a season for Joseph Anderson. And then Paul Macbeth's boss sitting in 6th place. I won't always call him that, but we were just talking about it earlier. Paul Macbeth coming in to the European swing and coming to the European Open that he's won so many times. Definitely coming into form. And then a few more names, Paul Ulibarri, Anthony Barella, and Gannon Buhr in a tie for 7th. And Adam Hammes, 4-way tie for 7 for fantastic players making the trip over. But then Jake Wolf finishing in 11th place. That is awesome to see. He notably is a forehand specialty, and I think only forehand and thumbers. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he throws a backhand in and around, but he's got quite the form and power from the forehand. And then last name I'll mention in MPO is Eagle McMahon, tied for 12th. It feels like he's been knocking at their door at top 10s for weeks now. Definitely good to see coming back from an injury, but at the same time, you definitely want to see Eagle McMahon pushing into the top 10 and maybe competing for a win here soon. And then over into FPO, it's been a while. It has. Not since April has Kristen Tatar competed in a tournament, and here she is. And it didn't look so hot to start. After round 1, she was 3 strokes back of Silva Sarnen, who's red hot, who didn't win Finnish Nationals last week, but won 5 straight events prior to that. And a round rating was 972 in that first round. And of course, she has 1,000 rated now, so that is almost 30 points below her rating. But then what happens? She comes out and shoots a 10.05 and a 10.12 at 7 down and 6 down to take a commanding 6-stroke victory over Silva Saarinen in second place. She is back in the winners circle, and I don't think you can call this anything but a domination. Share this already, but we'll share it here, is just the number of stat categories that Kristen Tatar led in through the tournament here. And birdies are better. She was first, 44%, and bogeys are worse, first, 15%, and first being the fewest. Double bogeys are worse, didn't have a single one all weekend. That is first. Fairways, 80%, that is first. Parked, 20%. Circle 1 in regulation, 44%. Circle 2 in regulation, 74%. All of those are first, of course. Circle 1X putting, 86%. That is first. And then I'll skip a few categories that she wasn't first in, but very good at. But then strokes gained, tee to green, and strokes gained putting. She was first in both of those, which leading both tee to green and putting. That's a dominant weekend. So she is back, maybe better than ever. And we're heading into a major next week. She has yet to win a major in 2024. I bet she's hungry and she's looking top notch. Nick, what'd you take away from this?
Kristen Tatar's back, and it's great to see. Just watching her play after a bad first round and then coming back the second and third round, I think that's one of those times where Matt always says, she doesn't have the clutch. She always wins by big margins and stuff like that. I think this was a good testament to she does have that gene. She's a lot better player than good majority of the people out there, if not everyone. And so for her to be able to come back down 3 to 4 strokes after the first round and slowly claw her way back, tied going into the final round, and then to win the event was all great, especially over Silva, who's obviously been playing incredible the last 5 or 6 weeks.
And then in third place, we have Anale Tujas Manaste, also from Estonia. So 2 out of 3 Estonians with Kristen Tatar in first place on the podium. Heidi Lane finishes tied for 4th along with Anniken Sten. Rachel Turton, fresh off a British national championship victory. She finished tied for 6th along with Ella Hansen. And then a little bit further down, Lykke Lorentzen in her home country of Norway, which she doesn't get to compete in too often, being in the States so much of the year. She finished in 11th. Maria Elde Christianador, I mentioned how she was leading, the Swedish Open a couple weeks back after round 1. So she's on my radar, especially for Pop Drop Law Pick. She finished in 12th. And Paige Pearson, 13th. She's, of course, trying to come back into form, was back in form, still getting back into maybe the swing of the season over here in Europe. And she's headed into a major, and it has been a couple of years since she's gotten a major, the longest win drought of her career for majors. So she is, I'm certain, everyone's hungry for a major win. I shouldn't say someone's more hungry than others, but I feel like Paige Pierce definitely is. So, Ben, I know you're producing. I don't want to put too much weight on you, but I do want to hear your opinions if you got anything on the Krokhol Open.
Opinions just in general on anything in the Krokhol Open?
You got the full floor, Ben. You get to pick what you want to talk about here.
I guess that I thought it was a beautiful type of property, but maybe not like the most entertaining. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it. I think it was beautiful, but yeah, I don't know. I think you put me too on the spot. I don't really know.
I put you too much on the spot. That's all right, Ben, the producer with
I'm trying to think of like a point, and I don't even know if I'm really stand behind that point. But
I was going to say that with some boldness, Ben.
Yeah. I don't think I stand behind it at all.
The name Krokhol's fun to say. That's something.
It wasn't. It wasn't. I was just trying to come up with the topic, but I think it was fine. I think, I mean, Ricky dominated. Maybe that's why it wasn't as entertaining, because Ricky just landslide, and it was more entertaining in the FPO field. But after round 2, it was like Kristen was like, it was game over. So maybe that's probably why I said that, not the course.
All right. Well, let's unpack more about the course later. I think that's a good topic to get to. But to round out the recap of the event, I can't go the full recap without mentioning James Proctor having back-to-back eagles to close out round number 1. On hole 17, he throws it in from 200 plus feet. And then on hole 18, he was able to get into circle 1 for an eagle chance and makes the putt. So back-to-back eagles, that is very, very rare. In the PDGA hole-by-hole scoring era, where we're keeping live hole-by-hole tracking, that's the first time in an MPO or FPO major or Elite Series event, or in those divisions. It has happened before across all events, and I believe people are mentioning that happened at Beaver State in 2015 from Macbeth. That rings a bell with me. I didn't go in and verify all the YouTube scoring, but certainly an incredible feat for someone to accomplish, and especially with a monster throw in. I mean, that's essentially an ace at that point, which, I mean, haters will come out that an ace only can be from the tee. I understand it from a technical perspective, but the type of throw definitely feels maybe as good. So very cool to see. That's all I have on the Krokhol Open. I know we have Pop Drop Lock recap to get into. I don't know if we're going to do that now or not. Nick and Josh, I will throw it back to you.
Yeah, unless we've got any other reactions to that, Ben, I'd love to talk about PDL results. We got that stuff loaded in.
Yeah, let's do it in 3, 2, 1.
And as well, I'll wait for the transition. The awesome music so we can bob our head.
Yeah, pop, drop, lock, you.
Pop, drop, lock. So we're going to get to the results. Reminder, when the European swing started, we said there's not enough players with historical average, so we moved to a ratings-based over-under for our Europe events, and it looks like that's going to continue, which I guess makes sense. And Ben, I know we had lots of side chats, but you were telling us how, did you use the word easy? I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth. How easy it was to pick when we had the ratings approach. So I'm curious to see how the results look this week.
No, my comment was that it's a week to get a lot more points. Yeah.
Got it. So did you go out and do that then?
I did not, because I did not pick the correct players to do that.
Oh, yeah.
But
all right. Well, we can see that. I don't want to steal the thunder. Let's take a look.
Right, yeah,
I know they're public, but let's see how we did.
Who was the lowest? Was it me? I don't know. Was it me? I think it might have been me.
I don't
feel
think
like it's probably me.
Okay. And we're going to Nick?
Nick just assumes.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
There you go, Nick.
Idea. 29 points. Okay. I think it's better than my last 5 weeks combined.
And then I think it's me, which, here's the thing. Matt in the comments said, I want to hear Ben talk about his foolproof strategy. Matt literally took my strategy to a T. He picked like the lowest rated FPO player, and she got like 40 points from him. And he picked Ella Hansen and Eagle McMahon. So he pretty much did exactly my strategy. So I think, that's just how it is.
So how come you didn't do your strategy?
Because Pop is definitely a little more tricky. And my Pop player on the MPO side did not play as well as he did the previous week. So he gave me negative points this time, which obviously hurt me. And then Eagle just really didn't drop. So, but I got points either way. But, you gotta.
Hey, yeah, 39 points. I mean, we've had weeks where people are throwing
I'll take
down
that.
double-digit negatives.
I'll take that all day.
All right. I'll let you know if did you think that moved you into the lead at all? Or you were in the lead,
already
right?
in the lead.
Yeah, you were in the lead. Did you hold
I'm
on
still
to
in the lead.
All right, what's the next scores then?
I believe it was Evan. With
Making up ground on Ben, getting a full point back. So
One at a time.
I had a pretty solid week. I had 40 points, but I also got negative 40 from Matt's pop pick. So I'm no complaints. That's a strategy I want to be doing. But yeah, I had 80 points. Well, I guess I had some points from Matt's MPO pop not doing so well. But anyways, solid week, and I'm maxed out on Ricky Wysocki, so a good week to max out the 5th pick on Mr. Richard Wysocki.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Matt or Josh? Bring it home.
Oh no, I do this every year.
Oh,
okay,
no.
I stopped it.
All right.
Yes. I don't know how I stopped it, but I did.
55 points. All right, I'm all right with that. 55 is not bad. Rachel Turton was my poor pick. she performed well, which is good for her.
What did you pick Rachel Turn for?
To drop.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't follow your strategy, but that's all right. I still got 55 points. So what's Matt get then?
Matt, the winner, he had one great pop with.
Yes, he did.
And he had negatives on his pop FPO. I mean pop MPO and drop MPO, I'm pretty sure. So
Yep, you're right.
he just dominated that one FPO pick by picking the lowest rated player in the field. My strat. Just want to put it up there. Thank you. So he used the foolproof strategy. So good job, Matt. You caught on. You didn't get negative 30.
The foolproof strategy that didn't work for you. I'm still learning this, Ben. I'm
Right.
trying.
I'm
to,
pretty
what
sure.
do you mean it didn't work? I got 40 points. That is that is a
you
great.
got 39 points. Excuse you.
Oh, okay.
I got 40 points.
Evan got 40.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure if you listen to the actual theme, Ben, the real strategy is to pick the players that are going to overperform and underperform their averages each week.
Yeah, but
That's the
ratings
real
are just,
objective.
it's a different beast. It's a different ball game. It's,
right.
it's, you know, you
Well-
either pick it right and you don't.
All right. Well, here's the deal. For now, you can still brag about having first overall. I don't know if
Yes.
you have been doing the math, but you're 14 points ahead of Matt.
Let's
So
go.
it is neck and neck, and then it trails off with some other fights further down the chain. I'm in third. Nick, you're in fourth, and then Evan's kind of constantly having to,
Yeah.
fight for fifth.
I don't want to dig into the points too much, but how many points do I need to catch Nick?
34.
Okay.
It'll be
Wow,
like
Nick.
after this week, dude.
I
I've
like
accepted my fate that I'm losing.
Yeah.
Do we have a punishment for this? Like
don't
Nick
know.
has to stand outside Chick-fil-A with burgers or something?
I would never. I love
Serve
Chick-fil-A
him
too
up.
much for
I
that.
don't know. Ask the chat to give us some advice on what the winner
Yeah,
gets and what the loser has to do.
I
we
want
have
it
not decided.
semi-reasonable because I'm in last. I'm not going to accept a bad deal.
That is true.
Yeah.
Anyway, so good. I see some people in the chat. 73 points, Westy Acres. That's a good week. 31st overall. And others,
Who's
get
the
out there and
winner?
play with us, right? I believe I do not have it in front of me, but we collect the winner each week. We reach out to them. What do we do
Correct.
for them?
We give them a Hooligan Discs item,
Nice.
and they're dropping their caches, Primo Glow cash, this Wednesday. So I'm not saying that's going to be the item. I'm just saying that out loud.
Yeah. Well, get out there and play. It's really easy. So maybe sometimes we assume you can see some of it on the screen. popdroplock.com. If you've not logged in, it's really easy. It creates a username for you. Get in there. Have fun. With a major coming up this weekend, let's up the competition. A lot of people. We'll talk about our picks later in the show. And it's really simple. Just decide who you think is going to overperform their average, who's going to underperform their average, and then just the classic pick who's going to win. And this week, was it 4 out of the 5 of us picked the winner? And I don't think it's totally lucky to pick Ricky and see a win. However, that's one of the few weeks that all of us have, or 4 of us have picked and got the win.
I
So
know.
you can do it
That
too.
was-
That's pretty incredible. I like seeing that, Nick. I know. Bless your heart. I appreciate your pick to Paul Macbeth. He finished 6th.
I
He still
tried.
got some points. But 4 out of 5 for Ricky Wysocki. That
Yeah.
was pretty crazy. I don't know
Yeah.
if we'll see that again this season.
So I know we've been capping out a max of 5 picks, and so Evan and myself can no longer pick Ricky for the rest of the season.
Wow.
Womp womp. And
But
Evan can
Evan
no
still has
longer.
5 Christian Tatars.
I have
Right?
all 5 Christian
I know you
Tatars.
saved them all exactly. And then Evan and Ben have maxed out Holland Hanley, so no more picking Holland. But yeah, that does mean you've got others in store to pick. So Nick, you're the closest. You picked Kristen 4 times, so you better save that last one.
Yep. Saving it
Worlds?
for Worlds.
Yep. All
There
right.
you go.
Saving it for Worlds.
How many times have I picked her? Twice?
Who?
Kristen?
Let's see. I can tell you because you've picked her twice. Yes.
There we go. She hasn't won both the times, so.
Well,
Anywho.
don't tell us what your pick's going to be. All right, so we have plenty of other things to talk about. I also know we're expecting a guest, so Ben,
Yes,
you
she's
wanna
in.
let-
I honestly didn't even realize. So.
Oh, no,
All
Ben.
right. Sneaking up
Can-
on us. Awesome.
can-
So we ready
Emily,
to
can
head
you
over to talk
say
to Emily?
hello? If maybe we can hear you. Yeah, that's why I didn't know she was in because I can't hear her.
All right, so we waiting?
Yeah, if you want to just go back out and hop back in, Emily. Thank you. That'd be. Let's
All
see.
right. Well, while we wait, this doesn't have to be a long conversation. We're segueing off of Krokhol, so there's a lot of talk about it, and this could be a longer topic. Krokhol, #1 disc golf course, which I believe is based off of UDisc ratings, and obviously every single rating in the world has some kind of metric or system in how it calculates it. We saw it on the course. Or on the screen for those of us who weren't there, and those who were there. A lot of the pros, I don't know if all of them, but were raving at how incredibly beautiful and amazing it was. And Ben's got the thumbs up probably for the interview.
Yeah, let's
all right.
Yeah, because we're gonna go off on that topic. Let's just go straight into
all right
the interview.
Think about that then, guys. We'll come back to it.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
give me a second. Boom. It's because Jake Mon, he messed us up. His guest thing was just
Jake.
like,
oh come on.
For some reason his phone didn't work. I don't know why.
All right, that doesn't make it Jake Mon's fault.
There we go.
But we appreciate your hard work,
Emily. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, awesome. We're teasing Ben, who's teasing some other guest we had on the past, saying the audio wouldn't work. But I am glad you're here, and we promise never to blame you for future technical issues. So
I appreciate it.
All right, awesome. Hey, well, welcome back. You were on our show just 8 weeks ago.
Yes.
And that was shortly after you finished third at Dynamic Discs Open. I'm sure you remember. And since then, you've had 2 top 10 finishes, 2 top 20 finishes, and then you went out and won.
Yeah.
So congrats on winning. That's incredible. We talked some about what your expectations were when we talked to you 2 months ago. So this is a pretty simple, basic question, but like, how are you feeling? You're now over a week. It's kind of settled in. You've drove home. How are you feeling about taking home that win?
I feel great. Like, I knew I could do it, especially like practicing that course the week before. I was just confident out there. I was really, really enjoying the course. I thought it fit my game really well. So going into it, I had a lot of confidence. I knew I could do it, and I did it.
Yeah. Well, I think we even talked some when you were here about the confidence and the mindset and kind of playing, free and easy. And it sounds like you had that all together at Des Moines. So in the FPO field, I think I have this stat right now. Evan may be away, and so he'll validate or correct me later. Maybe you've heard it. I think you're the 5th first-time winner in FPO this year, which is a record. And I'm curious from your perspective. Now, we have perspective as media and fans. We follow the names and the stories and the leaderboards, but you're like in the field, meaning you know these people personally, you recognize faces, you know what their strengths and weaknesses are. You probably get along with maybe all of them, maybe not so much with some of them, but my point is you know the field. The fact that there's been 5 first-time winners, is there anything unique going on in the field? Are there more entries, more people playing? Is the competition more competitive? Do you have any insights just from your perspective? You're new this year as well, at least on the tour. Do you think that stat tells us anything?
I don't really have anything to compare it to, obviously, because it is my first year on tour. But I do feel like the competition is really good. Like, everybody's there. Everybody has the drive. Everybody's, competing hard, playing as hard as they can. And I think people are just really confident right now. Like, I'm seeing a lot of confidence in a lot of the FPO players. And it's really good to see because, you want to, or me personally, I want to play against the best competition that I can. So, like, I know the whole thing with Kristen Tatar, everybody's like, well, Kristen's back, now she's going to win. I want her to be there. I want to play against her. I'm not scared to play against her. Like, yeah, she's a great player and she probably will beat me, but I want to play against the best in the world.
Yeah, and even at the Des Moines, I know there's some split because of people traveling in Europe and people taking certain breaks, and so I'm sure that's a factor, but I think it was probably still a pretty strong competitive field, which is part of what I was asking, is the fact that there's more and more even new winners shows there's much more balance to the FPO field. Of course, people are going to have their opinions on, is that true when Kristen's in the field? And I love your enthusiasm. Ready to kind of take that on. So sometimes we follow stories and narratives of players, and it takes what we call up and comers. So these are new players who are showing top performance potential, and sometimes it takes them years to break through, right, to get their first win. And you go and do it in your first year. So your story's different. So you, like, some people have to get the monkey off their back, whereas you probably never had that, and now you have a win. How do you think that plays into your mindset? You've used the word confidence here, but how does that play, for you for future results? Does it actually relieve any pressure, or does it increase the expectations? I'm curious how you're feeling now that you have a win so early in your career.
So I'm trying to not let it change my expectations because I don't want to like get too excited and be like, "Oh, I did it. That means I should be doing it every week." Because, sometimes that's not true. It's a different course, different tournament. It's still a new course to me, and I just have to go in there the same way I've been thinking about every tournament this year so far. And so I'm not trying to get too high of expectations, but I think they have gotten up there just a little bit because I proved to myself that I could do it, and I'm hungry for another win, and I just want people to see that that's not all I have. Like I can do more than that.
I imagine it's probably I've not been in this situation, especially not in disc golf, but a fine line between having confidence. You've proven you can do it. So of course you should be confident, but also kind of walking that line of humility and still having the drive. And I imagine you're kind of working through that as you look forward to the season ahead. So speaking of season, do you have your eyes set on anything in particular? You kind of just addressed that now, saying every course is a different course. It's a different weekend. But any goals? Maybe this is silly to say, but a world championship, you have your eyes set on that? What are you looking for going forward?
I think that if I could win worlds, that would make a big statement. And definitely, I always have my eyes on the prize, like always. I go into every tournament wanting the win and playing hard for the win. But whether that happens or not, I have to learn to be okay with it. So I'm just going to play my best game, and if my best game is, not as good as somebody else's, then it is what it is.
Yep, for sure. And that's why we love watching and rooting on all the players like yourself. So at Des Moines, every tournament obviously plays out differently. In today's competitive field, most of these tournaments are close down to the end in almost all cases. Every once in a while, someone runs away with it. But you had to make a lot of putts down the stretch, and you could argue any one of those putts at the end, right, could have been a round changer, right? The score was pretty close right down to the end. How aware, I've heard you mention this in some other interviews you've done, but for our listeners, how aware are you of the score? And does that affect your feelings or your emotions while you're putting? Maybe this is kind of what we measure when we say the word clutch, right? Were you feeling that, or was it more just like you were in the groove and just every putt was just focused on the putt, or did you feel the moment?
So I knew after my upshot on hole 15, I looked at the scores, and I got a little bit nervous, but I was also like, "Oh my gosh, I could do this. Like I have a really good chance to win this." Um, so I kind of just brushed off the nerves and got back into like my game face. I put my game face back on, and I just, going into 16 where I threw a shot that I thought was pretty good, but it hit that one tree and kicked me left almost OB. I was like, "Okay, can't change that. It was a poor shot, can't change it, so what can we do now?" And so I was like, "Don't give yourself a chance to get a bogey here." So I threw almost a perfect upshot, you know, getting me a par, and going into 17 and 18, knowing that I needed to birdie at least one of them to maybe have a chance. I didn't really expect to birdie both of them until after I'd birdied 17. 18 really wasn't that difficult of a hole for me. It was pretty simple, like stock hyzer shot, and then that Annie shot I'm really comfortable with, and then just I have to make a putt, and my putting was I was very confident on the putting green, as y'all could probably tell. So yeah, no, I wasn't really nervous. I just wanted the win, and I was just playing hard for it.
Yeah, well, you certainly were. So, I mean, you talked about like that, you're happy for what's happening and then put on the game face. But I'm
Mhm.
just curious, and obviously everybody's personality is different, Emily, and this is why we love having conversations with the players. Did you feel like you wanted to erupt inside when you hit that final putt? Like, was that your feelings and you kind of like suppressed it? It's because you're excited for the moment, but you don't actually have the win like finished yet. Or are you really generally fairly calm in demeanor? Like, where were you at on that emotional scale in that moment after hitting that putt?
Honestly, I was really calm in a way. I expected to be more like I expected to cry. I thought I would cry. And I didn't. I just, I was kind of disappointed in my reaction actually. I was like, "Huh,
Too much game
this is
face.
kind of
You were
weird."
like in the moment.
Yeah, I was kind of weirded out by it, but yeah, I think I'm just pretty calm, but also I have anxiety a little bit, and so with, like, all the people around, it was really hard to, um, kind of show my big expression or anything, so it probably was me suppressing it a little bit as well, just because I don't know, I'm not super comfortable around a big crowd of people,
Yeah.
so probably just a little bit of all of that.
So I can certainly understand that and appreciate that. Did you ever have a moment after maybe away from the crowds with those you're closest with? Obviously, maybe not the big celebration, but just kind of the release of like, wow, I did it. Did you ever experience kind of that moment when you're more comfortable with family or friends or partners?
Yeah, so I kept telling Rob, I was like, "Oh my God, I just did that. I just won."
Yes.
Like I just kept saying that out loud, and it still like wasn't making sense. So I never really had like a big reaction though. Like I hugged my parents, and that felt really good. That's like I got a little bit kind of emotional with doing that, just because they are my parents and they've been, my number one supporters for so long, and it was great to have them right after my win, be able to see them, be able to hug them, and be congratulated by them. It was so special.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, congratulations on a win. I think you do well understand how big of an accomplishment it is, but just to even remind you from our perspective, this year has a lot of first time winners, but the tour does not usually have lots of first time winners. And so to break into that ceiling is quite an accomplishment. And so congratulations again on doing that.
Thank
Now,
you.
I believe after Des Moines, you went straight back home, which is to Texas. Is that right?
Yes.
And I know I heard this on, again, another interview you've done, but are your travel arrangements changing at all?
Yes. So I just bought an RV, and I'm getting it all ready. It's already here with me at the house, and I should be leaving on the 22nd, 21st or 22nd to go up to Peoria, Illinois for Ledgestone.
Awesome. So is this your first time starting RV life, or do you have any past experience with that?
This is the first time. I'm a little bit nervous because I've been used to driving a little Ford Fusion, so driving this big thing now, it's
Yeah.
a little bit nerve-wracking, but I got it.
All right. Well, we'll have to have you back on in the future and have some fun discussion about like RV life because as amazing as it is, because it truly is, which is why you're obviously pursuing that option, but it can also come with plenty of its fun and interesting stories as you learn all the equipment and the different driving and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But I'm sure that will increase the comfort on the road. Is that part of why you went with the RV approach? Just having everything easily accessible as you now really move into the full time tour.
Yeah, it was really hard traveling in such a small car because I'm having to fit like all the clothes, all the extra discs, my bag, and then Rob's been traveling with me, so his bag, his clothes, his extra discs. Um, and I'm excited for one to have all the extra room and also to not be spending a lot of money on hotels and Airbnbs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still costly with an RV, but if you balance it right, I'm sure it is much more efficient with kind of the RV. Well, again, congrats on getting an RV. I'm in a totally different life situation, but our family bought one several years ago, and it's a lot of joy to be flexible and be able to use that. And obviously, your situation is different. But again, congrats on that.
Thank you.
In our live chat, Emily, I've asked if anybody has questions for you, and nobody's thrown us anything out of left field, but here's a few we want to answer, or if you could answer for them. So they're asking, are you going to play the rest of the events on tour this year? And we already see you're not registered for this, obviously, European event about to happen this weekend. What's your general plans for the remaining tour events? Are you going to be there?
Yeah, so I should be. I'm pretty sure I'm on the wait list for Idlewild and Deglow. So we'll see how that goes. Monday qualifier, probably. I was on the wait list for Ledgestone, but after my win, they decided to put me in, which was great. Very appreciative of that. But yeah, I'm gonna be going to as many as I can. Should be all of them. That's what the plan is right now, but you never know what's gonna happen in the future. So yeah, I'm really excited to get back out there because I love being home, but also it kind of like I kind of lose the momentum whenever I come back home and have to go right back out there. So hopefully I can bring that back up before Ledgestone.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we'll be watching you out there. So another question is, did you play any other sports besides disc golf? Just asking, a multi-sport athlete at all? Or was it really, I know your story is you've played disc golf from a very young age, so we know that's true. Did you play any other sports, whether individual or team sports?
So when I was in elementary school, I played soccer for a league that we had here in Abilene. And I liked it a lot. I thought for a few years that's what I wanted to do. And then that transferred to disc golf, obviously. And then in middle school, I played soccer again for my 7th grade year. And then for 7th and 8th grade, I was on the basketball team as well. So I kind of dabbled in a few other sports, but nothing really stuck like disc golf did.
Yeah, disc golf won out, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so one other random question. We don't need to know all about your finances, but everybody always wants to know after a big win. Did you splurge on anything? Did you go get like a nice dinner? Did you buy yourself a toy or something you've been looking for? Or did it all go to this RV? We're all curious, Emily.
It went to the RV for sure.
All right. Well, again, the RV is it's probably not qualified as a toy, but it can be a toy in its own right now that you're living this grown-up tour life, which is awesome. Okay, so you've been with us for about 20 minutes. Do you have a few more minutes to stick with us? I want to ask some different types of questions to get to know you better. The classic game of would you rather, but we're not going to throw you anything awkward or weird, but to put different scenarios out there so us on the show and our listeners can get to know you better. Do you have a few more minutes to stick with us?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, awesome. Hey, so Ben, I'm going to run these questions, but I don't know if you can put 4 or 5 up if that works.
Yeah,
if you can't. All right, awesome. Because I want this to be more conversational and fun rather than just a traditional interview. So Emily, again, thank you for joining us. This is intended to be much more fun and low key for a few more minutes while I wait. Ben will switch us up on the screen if he can figure it out. But some of these are okay. Awesome. For whoever we've got. All right. So Emily, I don't know if you know Nick Carl, one of the original founders and hosts on this show, and then Ben, who kind of brought you on, and then myself and Evan and Matt are not here right now. But so I'm going to run some would you rathers, and Nick and Ben, you can weigh in. Obviously, everybody cares more about what Emily has to say than any of the three of us here. But all right, so a random range of things. So here you are, Emily. Would you rather hit a big final putt in front of a crowd, which interestingly enough you've done, right? But only get 3rd place, right? So you're here, you final putt, it's a big putt, but you finish in 3rd. Or would you rather miss the final putt, but actually finish in 2nd place? In other words, what's more important to you, that placement on the board or hitting that big putt?
Oh, that's a good one. I really like showing up for a crowd So that is a hard question, but I think I would rather take the second place.
All right.
Smart.
Yeah, and you notice I didn't put first place in there, right? Because everybody wants to win. But, third or second, there's nothing like that big putt feeling. I'm with you, Emily. Nick?
On the Pro Tour, I would take the second place because of the amount of money.
You getting an extra grand,
yeah,
like that's worth it for that putt?
During an A tier, B tier, C tier, if there's a crowd around, 100%, I want to hit that big putt.
All right. Well, here's something else, Emily, that you may be familiar with that Nick has a little experience with, kind of. I do not, and Ben does not. And this is, anyway, would you rather shoot, ready, a 10-20 rated round on camera, okay, but you're going to finish 5th place?
Mm-hmm.
Or would you rather just shoot a 960 rated round, but finish in 3rd place? So again, like, that's a better placement finish. But the other is a 10-20 on camera, but you're not even on the podium. Which one you picking? Are you still liking to show off?
So both of them are above my rating right now. So
Yep.
I will take the 3rd place and shoot above my rating anyway.
There you
Okay,
go. Me too.
awesome. I mean, right, but I am not a pro of any sort, and so I'm like, just let me throw that incredibly high rated round on camera and preserve it for all the time.
Oh, that's a
As
good
someone
point.
who has thrown a 960 rated round on Elite Series coverage, I would 100% rather the 1020 rated round.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was 960 or Jomez?
No, I don't know.
okay.
It might have been
Emily,
like
I'm not sure if you
990
know,
or
but Nick was on a lead coverage card at Waco before.
Oh, wow. Okay,
One time.
cool.
One time.
I mean, Nick, I know it's kind of like sour. Okay, Emily, the basic
not
story
anymore.
is Nick played an incredibly hot round, enough to put him on lead
Jomez.
card at Waco, real pro tour. And then, of course, I think, did you have a Jomez interview?
Yeah, the Jomez player profile.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, now that he's on lead card on camera, had a really bad round.
Yeah.
which
That's
is
why.
wrong. So it's his only real
yeah.
documented Jomez round is that.
It was one of those rounds where everything was it was a few feet off compared to day one. And
That makes
anyways, but knowing that feeling though, shooting a bad round on coverage, because I've been on coverage twice. Once was when I won the AMSide tournament to Maple Hill back in 2018. So my round when I played on the pro card, the league or the feature card, it didn't matter. I was an amateur player. It was just cool that I got to play with them. So I wasn't really worried about that. But the Waco one, I was in a position of wow, I could do something really, really cool this weekend. And then followed it up with a very, very subpar round for my standards. And so 100, if I had taken that round and shot 10-20, life is so much better.
Well, this is why, and I say this maybe as a joking segue, but I actually mean it. This is why it's so impressive, Emily, when someone like you who goes out and throws 3 rounds and wins. This is why we recognize that that's an awesome performance.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So would you rather play first round on a feature card? So you didn't necessarily earn it, but you're there. But it's with people you don't really get along with, which, by the way, I don't know if is a thing for you, but just imagine you're on a card where you're like, oh, geez, this is not the crowd I want to be with. Or would you rather play a crack of the dawn, early morning card, grass is wet on the ground, but you're with your close friends? So would you rather be on the feature card or do you want to play early with your close friends?
I don't normally let who's on my card really affect me. So I would probably say a feature card, especially with the weather being better and it being a little later in the day because I don't like waking up in the morning. So yeah, I don't let other people's attitudes or whatever get in my head. That's also why I keep one earbud in my ear just in case, if people aren't really being talkative or anything, I have my music to fall back on, and I just kind of keep to myself anyway. I do talk to my card, but I also keep to myself and keep my game with, you know what I mean, within
the game
me.
face.
Yeah,
you told us about
exactly.
that earlier, right? Yeah, that's your thing,
Yeah.
which is I'm going to be watching for that game face out there. So I'm going to immediately move because you mentioned it. Would you rather play on a card where everyone has their earbuds in listening to music and there's no interaction, or play on a card where there's constant conversation? I think you kind of just answered this, but I don't know. Which would you pick?
Probably the earbuds.
Okay.
Because a constant conversation, while it's cool to get along with your card that much, I find myself getting distracted a little bit, and losing my game face
Yeah.
a little bit whenever everybody's just talking to everybody.
Well, I know I played on a card once where the guy just kept asking me if I was hydrating properly, like every 2 holes. So I'm like, all right. Nick, Ben, would you rather a conversation card or would you rather the earbud card? You have to pick one, right? This is a would you rather.
Yeah, it's tough because I'm 50-50 with it. Because some tournaments I love, like when I play with my friends, whether it's the first round or the final round, we have a great time. We're conversational pretty much the whole time. But in a serious manner, I'd rather play on the card of everyone else's. I don't wear earbuds when I play, but like everyone else not talking, just good shot. What'd you get? Great. Next hole. That I feel like that's more when I've been competitive. That's kind of how I am. I tend to distance myself usually at tournaments if I feel like I'm in the zone and things are going my way right now. Sometimes I'm, if everyone else is being conversational, I might jump into conversation here and there. But there are plenty of times where I've kind of I'll stand 10 or 15 feet away from the card just because I feel like I'm in my zone right now and I don't want to leave it.
Ben or Nick, you don't have to answer everyone. If you've got something, speak up if you've got an opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Given the option, would you rather show up 2 hours early for your tee time or show up with 30 seconds to spare?
30 seconds.
Nick's at 30 seconds. What are you, Emily? I mean, because I'm saying if you have to pick one, right? 2 hours or 30 seconds?
I'm going to say 2 hours
All
because I can just listen to music the whole time and I'd be fine.
Nice. Ben?
If I can warm up before that time, 30 seconds. So
I'm definitely at 2 hours. I hate feeling rushed. I do other competitive events. I'm a runner and I do races, trail races and all that. And I get there 2.5 hours early. I hate feeling rushed right to the beginning. All right. Our stat guy wanted to hear this one, Emily. Do you want to play around with 18 pars? So you finish even, par, all the way through. Or would you rather 9 birdies and 9 bogeys? So you get the same score. But which round are you choosing?
I'm going to go with 18 pars.
All right.
Because I know whenever I play the bogey birdie golf, I get very frustrated.
I can see that because you're I know I should be birdieing more and those bogeys just feel like a drag. That's the classic when you walk into the final and you're I should have had a 14 down.
That's so yeah. I would take the 9 bogeys, 9 birdies, because in my head I'm well, I had 9 birdies. If I just parred everything else, I could have shot 9 down. But if I have 18 pars, I never did anything great in a sense. 9 birdies though, you can talk about that. 9 bogeys you can also talk about over a few beers.
Yeah. I was gonna say the same thing. 9 birdies, 9 bogeys. At least, you can talk to all other AMs that are saying, oh, I wish I did this. Oh, I could have done this on 18. I laid up, but I hit off the cage and off. I didn't do that. If that did 9 birdies, 9 bogeys didn't happen, you'd have nothing to talk about with the people that complain as well. So
I don't know. It could be pretty epic. 18 pars in a row. Impressive.
I was going to say the same.
All right. I want to just a few more. So now, Emily, I hope this is fine for you. This is fun for us. It's a different way to get to know the players beyond just the classic, hey, how do you feel getting the win, which is also important to us. Yeah. So here's a few non-disc golf related. Would you rather eat food that is an 8 out of 10 on the spice scale? Spicy. Or do you want to eat food that's just average tasting, nothing that great, but it would be 0 spice, 0 out of 10. So basically spicy food or not. What you picking?
I'm going to pick not spicy.
All right.
Because I'm very sensitive.
All right. So going with the average food, 0 spice. Nick, I assume you're going the high spice?
No, God, no. I'm
just
going
joking. We know you're not. Yeah. We know you're not.
Yeah.
Emily, are you familiar with what is it? Is it the hot chip challenge? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Well, Ben has done that on this show before and kind of died, I think. Came alive again.
Yeah, I died. Practically.
Yeah.
It was bad. I think we have to run it back though. That was last year. We got to do it.
Yeah. Ben was pouring water on his head on the live show. So
yeah, it was it's literally like eating poison. That's the best way I can describe it.
All right. So, Emily, a little bit about, would you rather drive in a car for 6 hours to get somewhere? Or would you rather fly in an airplane, but, the whole travel, everything includes, 4 hours. So you get there a little quicker, but you got to deal with parking, airport, airplane. Would you rather drive a little longer, or are you hopping on that airplane to save the time every time?
I'm going to say drive a little longer.
Especially now that you got an RV. Make it a little easier. You can bring all your stuff with you.
Yeah.
All right, so related to driving, would you rather drive in stop and go traffic and get there in 2 hours? Stop and go for 2 hours, or drive free open back roads, but it's going to take you 3.5 hours, almost double the time. Which are you picking?
3.5 hours, because stop and go traffic makes me sick.
Ooh. All right. See, so there we go. That's an explanation. Anyone else? Nick, Ben, you doing something different?
I'm 2 hours all the way.
Yeah. I think
Convenience.
nowadays I'm more than 2 hours. If it was like a 30-minute difference, like when I've gone from Vermont to Massachusetts, I'll take the extra long road because it's prettier and it's more enjoyable. It might take an extra 45 minutes, but an hour and a half though. I'm probably just gonna suck it up. Now, when I was driving my old car, which was a 6-speed, I'm 100% going the 3.5 hours because stop and go traffic in a 6 shift was awful. So yeah.
I think many of us would prefer to avoid traffic. All right, totally different, Emily. Would you choose to have a private cabin in the mountains all to yourself? Or are you choosing like ocean beachfront property? What's your preference?
I'm going to choose in the mountains because first of all, I'm afraid of open water.
Okay.
I am terrified of that. I'll like swim in it and whatever, but I still will be scared. So probably would choose the mountains. I also really like the like foresty kind of vibe. So definitely mountains.
All right. I'm the same. Nick, Ben, either of you picking beach?
Give me mountains.
Yeah, probably mountains. Just vibey.
Emily, I don't know if I would like normally say that like I'm scared of open water. However, if we're in a boat and we're like in the deep part of the ocean and they're like, just get out and swim, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can let my feet dangle down in the deep water.
Dude,
so if that's what you're talking about, then I'm with you.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't do that.
That's kind of like terrifying when you can't like just see the dark water like 6 feet down.
Nope. I'm good.
Yeah. All right. I'm with you on that.
I'm the guy at the beach who literally says, as long as I'm not the furthest person out, then I'm okay. So like I'm I get my chest in there and that's about it.
All right. Just a few more. Promise we won't drag this out. Maybe we already have. I'm not sure. Emily, do you want to be the funniest person in the room or the smartest person in the room? If you have to only pick one or the other.
Smartest.
All right.
I never have been like the class clown or whatever. I've always been like the smarter one, the more logical one.
That's probably true right now too. It's probably like reality. You're the smartest person here, but anyway. All right. Would you rather always have a full phone battery or a full gas tank? Now that you got an RV, I mean.
This is a really good question for right now because my phone is on 6% as of right now.
Oh, all right. We're about to die. Interview over.
So my answer for right now would be a full phone battery, but
nice.
I'm going to go with a full gas tank.
Same.
All right. One last ridiculous one that's kind of a classic on the internet that's been debated for ages. Do you want to, if you had to fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses, what are you doing, Emily?
I don't like ducks, so I'm gonna go with the horses.
All right, so 100 small horses. I like it. All right, we can debate that on our show after Emily goes if we'd like. But Emily, truly, again, congrats, and thank you for staying on for some ridiculous questions. I will tell you, it actually sometimes is fun for us to get to know you in a different way. Just hearing more about you, your personality, your interests and preferences. Congrats on the win. Congrats on really joining the tour full time with an RV. And presuming your schedule does bring you up to New England, maybe a few of us will meet you out there on the course and we'll make sure to introduce ourselves. So good luck with the season ahead.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you, Emily. Have a great evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right. I think we also, when Ben lets Emily go, or she can stay on as a host if she'd like. But I think we also have Evan back. I want to get
Evan's back.
Nick, Ben,
there
you fighting the duck or the horses?
That's hard because horses' bites are like crazy. That would kill me. I think I'd
but
fight
they're
the
little
ducks.
Size.
It's 100 little ones. You might just be able to like kick them like soccer balls, but a giant duck.
I'm picturing a giant duck, like a horse-sized duck, in front of
I
me.
mean, good luck
now.
fighting that
I
thing for
can't
real.
stop-
Like, I don't
can't
know.
Stop laughing. Yeah.
I'd
No,
go
I'm
with the
probably
giant
taking
duck with a
100
sword.
I'll always go
Duck size
1
person.
over 100. Like there's
I think I agree, Evan, but
unless it's an ant size, like ducks. Okay, we've all played Maple Hill. I know they're geese, not
Those are
ducks.
geese.
They're a little bit bigger. I said I know
Ducks
they're
are like
geese.
a third of their size.
Those things are scary. I'm not walking anywhere near them. They start hissing at you. I'm like, whoo! Like one goose-sized goose is too much for me. So 100, like I get ducks are smaller.
Goose-sized
I
goose.
really do.
I think I'm also going with the
100.
single thing because I can keep my eyes on that. However, I'm going to say, like, like big animals, you can't like do much to hurt them
I'm
without
not
a weapon. Like
overpowering a duck
I don't know
or a
how you're
horse-sized duck.
defending yourself from the duck, but the horses, there's a lot, but you can just kind of chip away at them. Anyway, maybe this is a debate for another show, another time.
Oh, questions like that kill me.
Anyway, hopefully, people comment. I am totally fine if you're like, that's the stupidest thing we've done. But to me, it was fun to ask Emily different questions and learn some different things about her style approach. I mean, she has a calm demeanor. Talked about her emotions were not really, too high or too low. And I think we see that in even our conversation, which I really enjoy with her, but it's the same thing. It's very much, she talked about this game face. And I think that may be a strength of hers. And it's going to be interesting to see how she performs after the European swing. Mm-hmm. I love how she's a tour winner and she's on the wait list to get into some tour events. Just shows you how like the year started and then here she is killing it.
Yeah, she'll have her tour card though, so she won't have to worry about it next year. Yep,
for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, and she actually has it for an additional year too, assuming that she plays the Tour Championship.
Right.
So I don't know if she said that in any of you. So
I don't. She didn't say specifically. She said she is planning to play all the events. I mean, she's on tour now. I mean, literally purchasing an RV and she's out there. So I'm sure whatever event she's qualified to get in, she's planning to be there. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah, and to clear that up, is she, by winning, has earned a right to play in the Tour Championship. If you play in the Tour Championship, you earn a tour card for the almost 2 years in the future. So the 2024 Tour Championship will award a 2026 tour card. Just playing in it.
Yeah.
It's like the first step to get a 2026 tour card. Anyways.
Awesome. Well, again, congrats to her. I mean, I don't know what you all think. We don't have to debate this. We have a few other topics to kind of cruise through. But is sometimes these first time winners, you don't know exactly what they have in them, right? Are they going to keep going? But I mean, she's only won once, but she was almost competed for the win at DDO. And she's had some other good finishes. And when you see the way she plays and her demeanor and her focus, I'm optimistic. Of course, it's really hard to tell with the small sample size to know how her career will play out. I mean, literally, this is her first real year on the tour. So there's nothing to gauge it on except it's all optimism. So I imagine she's going to have some really good results. I think you need to see more to know how long-standing that'll be, but it's exciting to see new players like this joining. FPO field's growing. It kind of feels like where MPO was however many years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we've been saying it 2 or 3 years now. The kind of diversity in winners and who's winning on the FPO scene has been pretty insane. I mean, years and years ago, you talked about Paige Pierce, Val Jenkins, and Katrina Allen. You really didn't talk about too many other people. And then it turned into Paige Pierce, Kristen Tatar, and then it turned into Kristen Tatar, and then, finally, we're just seeing multiple people, Missy Gannons. We've got Emily Weathermans. We have a ton of people now winning, so it's really cool. It makes trying to pick who your lock is that much more difficult because there are a lot of females out there who can compete for the wins, especially, if someone like Kristen isn't at the event. That's definitely, a time for other people to potentially shine. So take advantage when you get them.
Yeah.
I shared the stat last week. I do want to share it again because I think it's that amazing that there has been 5 first-time FPO Major and Elite Series first-time winners. I said first-time twice, sorry. But 5 first-time winners at this level in FPO. The previous record in a single year It's clear that we are in a different age of disc golf, and it's not just these first time winners. I mean, think about all the repeat winners, Missy Gannon, Evelina Salonen, to then Paige Pierce, Kristen Tatar, of course. How could I forget that? And that might be 9 winners this year. I don't know if I'm missing one, but and apologies if I am. But that's a lot of winners.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just goes to reiterate everything you guys have said so far.
Yep,
Definitely
for sure.
crazy.
All right, so we've got a few topics. I kind of want us to move through them so we don't drain them at length. We're not always great at that, but then we're going to get to our picks in a little bit as well. But let's pick up where I was introducing before. Just like, I don't know, quick reactions. Krokhol #1 course. Yes, no? I mean, I teed up earlier, like some pros were really optimistic, and we weren't even there, so this is all conjecture, right? This is just our raw opinions. Like, but what are you thinking?
I am okay. So a lot of what I've seen actually pros say is that they were the best turf tee pads they've ever played on.
All right.
Which that's huge because, coming from a tournament where our tee pads were complained about, and then other tournaments where we've seen tee pads be in kind of poor function, to see posts like that from pros is really, really good. The course in and of itself, I thought utilized being on an old golf course. I thought they utilized it really well. I liked how there was multiple different death putts out there. The throws themselves were cool. It wasn't like, I don't know, it's weird. I can't say, oh my gosh, yes, that's the #1 course in the world because I haven't played it for myself personally. But it did look incredible. It looked like a place that I would absolutely love to play if I ever had a chance to get out there. But I don't know. I think I need to see a little bit more of it. Like maybe another tournament there, maybe 2 more tournaments there. And maybe that'll make me kind of like be like, yeah, dude, that place is that's amazing.
Yeah, I just take a lot of stock in what I hear the pros say who are there and competing, and like I heard a lot of optimism from them, so that sways me, right? It's like, all right, like yeah, I mean, I can see my own like what I see on the screen, but their affirmations are pretty positive as well. Evan,
Yeah.
Ben?
Well, I mean, it certainly passes the eye test to be in the discussion. Like, there's no like, you can have all the sorts of opinions. Like, some course is definitely better than that one. Whatever it is, but it's not like it doesn't belong in the conversation. So, that's step one, is that there is a debate now, and then to actually rank it's incredibly hard to do because Nick, you pointed out, I think the hardest thing to do is to rank courses that you have played is what matters. Like, I could. From watching on Disc Golf Network, I could say my thoughts about the Krokhol course, but I can't compare it to Maple Hill or Smuggler's Notch or Olympus that I played. Like, I watched Olympus at Throw Down the Mountain for years, and knew it was a cool course and excited about it. And then going there in February, it's so much different, and like there's so much different feel to it. So that's like #1. Like visiting it is so important, but then to actually compare it, there's so many different factors that are hard to weigh. And I'm gonna I do want to set some ground terms for it too that like I want to add into the conversation. Like a lot of people talk about the best course in the world, but I think when people have that conversation, I think they actually are having the best layout in the world. And we talk about Maple Hill a lot, and of course it's because it's a hometown course to the show. Maybe not as much to me and Josh now, but still within 90 minutes. In Maple Hill, there's so much to it, more than just what you see from the MVP Open each year, which is the gold and diamond layouts. They have red, white, blue, Old Glory, they have Canary, they have all these different layouts. And so if you go there, you can experience a completely different experience than someone else while being on the same course by playing a different layout. And now, courses always have different layouts. There's short tees, long tees, but there's different levels to it. So if I went and played Krokhol, like I would hopefully not play the layout that we just saw Ricky Wysocki win at. Like that course wouldn't, like, it'd be beautiful, but it wouldn't really maybe be my best course by playing that layout. I can of course have different rankings of my favorite courses to watch pros play compared to courses I like to play. But I do think that's a really important factor in like best course in the world, because to me, best course in the world, it factors all these different things. It factors in different types of layout and different type of amenities compared to just a single layout, which is much more about like how that layout is specifically designed. So it's a fun topic to have, and I don't want to be the person who puts my number one out there, because I think there's so many courses and just my position. I don't think that's the right place. I think this course is absolutely phenomenal and deserves to be in the discussion. So I'm excited to see where other people put it in compared to other top courses or layouts in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyone else? If not, we can move along. I mean, I agree.
I just love the European landscape, the land that they get to use, and they utilize it very, very well at a lot of these tournaments. There's been a lot of American pros who have been over in Europe for the last couple of weeks now, and hearing them in kind of the Facebook group and all these different groups, just talking about how amazing their courses are. It's really, really cool. It sets a standard, for what disc golfers want to play, and it's, coming from my side of things, it's like, okay, how can I make it to where when people come and play Olympus and they say, oh my gosh, that was one of the best courses I've ever played. It might not be everyone's favorite course in the world. I know we'll never please everyone out there, but seeing the feedback that pros are giving to these courses, especially out in Europe, is really cool. And like I said, their landscape is pretty awesome. The way their trees are is pretty great. And I've never been a huge fan of the Beast, the course itself, but I'm really excited to see the course out in Tampere, especially executed by the top pros.
Yeah, I am as well. I remember watching Tampere coverage from, I think it was the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour there a few years back, and loving the course. Truthfully, I cannot remember, this one course I watched 2 years ago. I haven't watched it since, so I'm excited to watch it this week. But I remember being really excited about, especially a few kind of design things they're doing. They made it like very like built up greens while also being very like nature-esque, and like kind of having that woodsy feel to it. And then having the challenge of maybe an elevated in the green, but just like more of too elevated against skip shots, not just, you need to get it up a little bit higher, which is a very hard thing to do. So I remember I loved watching it. I think the Beast, it's a course that has always demanded certain types of shots out of players that make the scoreboard really exciting. But I think other people, find the temporariness to it might not be their favorite course in the world, but then it might be their favorite event to watch. So that's an interesting aspect to it. But now that we're getting Tampere for the first two rounds, and then Worlds next year in 2025, we'll get to see these courses again with Tampere in the mix along with Nokia. That I just think it'll be really exciting. And to add into the best course in the world convo is Krokhol. A lot of people are saying is number one, but I think there's a serious argument about the best course in Europe, which is a high standard of course. So where they all fit together, is it Tampere, is it Krokhol? I mean, Konopiste, that's not the name of the course, but the event, the layout there is absolutely phenomenal as well. And we see so many on the tour. And then have any of us played a single round in Europe? Like Nick, I know you were just over in Scotland. I don't think you played disc golf.
I did not play disc golf though.
My point being is, like, we see courses on the tour. We certainly have our favorite courses to play that aren't on the tour, and you can have a fantastic, maybe top course in the world that's not on, the major and elite series level of disc golf. But then add in Europe, like, how are you going to find these courses by being, a whole ocean away for us to know how good some of these courses are that we're not watching? So we already see like 15 courses a year that are top notch. And then there's got to be so many more that we just have no clue of, being over here in the States. So yeah. It's a good problem to have, first of all, and that's not helping the debate of what could be number one. But those are my thoughts.
Exactly.
Very cool. Well, speaking of other really serious topics, we learned, I think this past week, that YouTube disc golf has lots of awesome stuff and has some kind of stuff that's crazy, like the Wind Dragon is the dimension of the people. Everybody, did you take in that music
was the
video?
best. I loved it.
All right. I think there were some mixed reactions. I'm sure we have the same on this show. Like, I feel like I can simultaneously love it. And what I mean by love it is I love that Eagle has the freedom to be himself and put it out there. And so, like, that's how I feel. I'm like, great, awesome, congrats. Like, don't not do that. And then I can simultaneously be like, what the heck did I just watch?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, I mean, when I turn it on, I'm like, what am I watching? However, I also put this in our text. I've known Eagle for a while. I mean, I'm not personal friends, but I've met him personally and known and been around him. And that is kind of like Eagle's vibe. A little bit, and he's this way publicly too, a little bit quirky, a little bit into anime, that type of music.
That's what
video,
it was. It was like kind of like an
so
anime
just not
reference.
like, I'm also wasn't surprised. We don't have to drain this one, guys, but any other raw reactions?
I loved it.
Not always my
Catchy
cup of
tune,
tea,
Nick?
but kudos
No?
to him.
Billy Joel or Eagles win
Yeah.
Dragon?
No, it was super catchy. It was like I'm not a big lyric person. Like when I listen to music, I'm there for the tunes and like jamming to it. So I couldn't tell you a single like how the lyrics went or what it meant, but like it was super catchy and it was stuck in my head for the rest of the day. And it kind of still is like back in there. I couldn't actually like make the tune, but if I heard it again, it would be immediately stuck in my head for another day. So again, my thoughts are pretty similar to yours, Josh. Like, yeah, I'm happy for Eagle to do what he likes to do. He mentioned how much he liked making that video. Like that's awesome. I don't know how anyone could say anything negative to that statement. And I know like there has been like negative comments to it. I don't know how Eagle, like how he's handling it. If it is any more of a topic than that. But I certainly I appreciate Eagle doing what he likes to do.
The MVP album. One day it'll be like all of his discs will have songs and it'll be epic, you know. And then I scroll over on YouTube in a totally different genre, produced by Jomez, with Macbeth and how do you say it? Hivju, who's like, you know, he's a Norwegian actor. So like all of a sudden I see like Macbeth like running down a course, throwing his entire disc golf bag, jumping over like sand traps. Like I'm like, what am I watching? And you know, then I watched some of it and like kind of enjoyed like the ridiculous like kind of humor twist, parody, whatever. But I don't know. Any reactions to that? I'm just saying, for those who aren't out there in the YouTube worlds, you probably are if you're watching this here. But like some weird stuff this past week in the disc golf world.
Yeah. I actually haven't watched the whole video for that one yet.
All right. Well, there's 3 segments. They're all fairly short, and they're having fun. And like, it's the kind of thing where I'm like, hey, I've got young kids. Go watch this.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's like. I mean, I guess I secretly maybe enjoyed it too, but I enjoyed it more like almost like the car crash. That's more negative. It wasn't that way, but you're kind of like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
And it's funny. So anyway. I mean, at the very end, I'm going to spoil it when Paul literally takes his belt off and hands it to him and says, here's a black belt. Like, you know, like what's going on? Anyway, good times.
Dude,
get out there and
I'm
enjoy,
missing out
enjoy
on
yourself.
that. I guess I got to watch it. Sounds like
I'll check it out.
the
The
best.
actor is cool as hell.
Yeah, I mean, like there's
yeah.
the cool aspect. You got this giant Norwegian who's a well-known actor from plenty of real legitimate shows, who's
Game
out
of
there
Thrones,
challenging
The Witcher,
Paul
more
to his
than that,
own
yeah.
version of disc golf games.
Yeah.
And appearing to take it, you know, deadly serious is kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So this is like an example of 2 people who are like, they're taking it serious, but like not too serious. It's like, it's a fun little balance, meaning Eagle and Hivju and, you know, whatever, even Paul to that extent. Yeah. So good stuff. Get out there and check it out. It's pretty funny and fun, and maybe share your own opinions. All right. I think we are definitely going to talk some about the European Open, probably a little bit as a segue when we talk about our picks, because it's like, hey, is Kristen back? Is everybody picking Kristen? Who's our other major performers? But Evan, I also know that you've got some more stats for us to kind of challenge us again. So unless anybody's got something else, I say we transition to maybe, Evan, what you got for stats, and then we'll wrap with our PDL picks as a preview for European Open. That sounding good?
Let's do it.
Sounds great.
Yeah, let's get into it. Ben, at some point we're going to need music for this, but we don't need to have it today, and that is okay.
Hey, in the early days, Ben used to give us some live, like, kind of grooving, like beatbox singing.
We have a name for this game now.
We do have a name for this. Actually, this music is perfect to announce the name. So totally unprompted. I mean, we kind of prompted it on the show, but totally unprompted. Some guy, oh my goodness, I don't know his name. That's my apologies, but you know who you are. Slid into the replies of, not even a reply, just slid into a open, I guess, Twitter message, not even message, post. I'm fumbling over everything here to say.
Spit it out.
What was suggested was calling it CTP. Closest to player. which I heard and was a million times better than any idea I had. So we are going to adopt
it. Ben, shut it off.
And with that, it's a slight change to how the points will work, which instead of summing how far away you are from the stat value, it's just each kind of mini round. Whoever is the closest will get points. And then I did make a small little edit away from like your true CTP where there's one winner. I did 3 points to the winner, but I have 1 point to the second best just to have a little bit more separation in there and make it a little bit interesting, especially if we have Matt back in the mix and we have 4 people playing, or if we have a guest on, we have 5. Like, I don't know. It could be crazy. So we'll keep this one short. We'll just do 4 players and 4 stats, but we'll keep the game rolling. So it's kind of in this week-to-week state, but that way we can get over into Pop, Drop, Lock in the European Open. So with this game, it's kind of fun to throw out some new ways to look at stats, but not necessarily new stats, but new ways to look at them to kind of get the numbers flowing in a different way and make you think about it this way. So what I'm going to throw out today is a stat called bogey avoidance. You see this on the golf side a little bit more, but it's just the percentage of holes you play at par or better, holes where you don't get a bogey. So if you're bogey free, you had 100% bogey avoidance. If you bogeyed half the time, just like your bogey percentage, your bogey avoidance would be 50%. So better percentage is good here. And then here's the tricker to this whole segment, all of today, is these stats are only starting with the European/West Coast swing. So it's post DDO, Dynamic Disc Open. It's when Copenhagen Open started and OTB Open the week following to present, and then a minimum of 2 events played in that time period. So it's not what you'll see on the Disc Golf Pro Tour's website because it's a certain segment of the season, just to give it a little bit of a twist so we're not memorizing stats here. So a lot of words. You guys understand the new format of the game?
Sure.
Close enough.
All right. That's the point of the game. So we're going to start with Richard Wysocki's bogey avoidance. Again, starting, I think it's May 10th of this year. So starting prior to the Copenhagen Open, which he did not play. So prior to the OTB Open. So bogey avoidance, again, high percentage is good. Max of 100%.
Gannon Burr.
Right. So, like, for example, when Ricky just went bogey free all weekend, that's really good bogey avoidance.
Yeah, 100% bogey avoidance.
So now we're just looking for who else is playing in a similar range to Ricky over that time period.
Yes. And again, this is either division, MPO or FPO.
Yep. All right.
And Major and Elite Series.
Kristen Tatar then. Yeah.
Gannon Burr.
Has she played 2 of she's on this list, so it's okay.
Enough, yeah.
Maybe I didn't say the requirement. Anyways, Kristen Starr's on this list, so you're okay, Ben.
All right, I said Gannon Burr. Nick.
Wait, Nick's already said Gannon Burr.
Oh, I said Gannon first.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah.
I'm saying the same thing.
What?
I didn't.
Rules
hear,
are
I can't say the same
rules.
thing.
wait.
No,
Last week I wasn't able to.
We didn't do it last week.
All right, then that's fine. I literally didn't even hear him, so that's a coincidence. So yeah. So who else?
I can change who
Nope.
my other pick was.
Nope. I'll pick Niklas Antila.
That was my second pick.
Really? All right. That's
Wow, look at that. So I'll give you this hint. Ben's getting 0. So one of you guys is getting 3 points and one's getting 1.
Is that
3 points? 3 points. You want points in this.
Frick.
So 3 points to being the closest. If you were CTP, you get 3 points. If you were like second CTP, you get a point.
All right.
So again, kind of a little soccer scoring with that, with wins and draws. But Gannon Burr is the closest. And again, I always got to start with what it was. So Richard Wysocki's bogey avoidance is 94.44%.
That's filthy.
Since the West Coast / European swing. And Gannon Burr is the closest with 92.98. Just about a 1.5% lower percentage points. That is getting 3 points to Nick. Niklas Antila is at 87.88, so a good chunk away, but closer than Kristen Tatar, who still has a fantastic 85.19% bogey avoidance.
All good disc golfers for sure.
All right, let's go. We'll go to MPO and then we'll go to FPO. Let's go Anthony Barella top 10s. So again, this is just the West Coast and European swing. So it won't include Anthony Barella's chess.com win, his Texas State win, and he has one other one that Austin.
Ricky Wysocki.
Austin was Antilla.
I almost said Rick
Jonesboro.
I know.
Oh
I
my
gotta go
goodness.
faster
I
because
know.
it
So,
seems like now
yeah.
first one.
As
to
I was
say.
fumbling over the
Yeah.
stat, if you guys could repeat who you said, so
Ganimer.
Ricky,
All right, I gotta look for an FPO player in that.
top tens.
Um,
Yeah.
Do you have a list of the FPO players?
no, you should know.
Well,
FPL
I'm wondering
players.
like who I can't pick. Essentially, I'll go.
You should really be able to pick anyone.
Okay, I'll
Probably
go
if they're in the
Owens
top
Goggins.
Oh, yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
So,
That's a good pick.
wow. All right. Full disclosure, in this quick little Google Sheets changing, I did not set up ties. So if you were the closest or
just
tied
give
for
them
the
to us.
closest, you guys get the full amount of points.
Yes.
And everyone tied. Anthony Brella has only 3 top 10 since the start of the West Coast and European swing.
Yep.
And Owens Goggins, Gannon and Richard Bryce-Locke all have 5
Wow.
top 10s.
So-
So you guys are all 2 away, but that means you've all tied for first. So you all got 3 points. But
Dang
again,
it.
of course, it's a wash.
That's pretty insane.
So, all right. We just had Emily Weatherman on. So let's do Emily Weatherman and her C1X putting percentage.
Missy Gannon.
Emily Weatherman, C1X putting, owns Goggins.
That feels way too high. Emily Weatherman. Let's see. Now I'm gonna pick an MPO player to try to match. We'll go Paul Macbeth.
All right. So, Emily Weatherman's C1X putting percentage is 75.74%.
Let's
a little
go.
lower than I would expect.
I was gonna say, I mean that's
So-
good, but I picked Owens Goggins, so
Yeah.
good.
So Ben gets 3 points.
Yes.
With Missy Gannon at 79.49%. That is the closest. Now listen to this. I'm not going to say the names, but I'm going to say the percentages in no random order. We have 84% and 84.93%. And that first one's 84.0.
Owns 9.93.
No, Paul Macbeth is Owens Goggins is at 84.0%. So Josh, do you get the single point?
right,
Josh, you have
take
not lost points yet this match. You are 1-3-1, but the other 2 fellas both have 2 threes. So they're Nick's at 6, Ben's at 6, Josh is at 5. I'm gonna say I like this format better.
It's coming down to this.
It's coming down to the wire. This is the last one, unless we have a bonus, and then we'll do bonus of just the people who are tied. And we are gonna do Ella Hansen, and I'm making this up in the fly. Let's do cash earned. Cash earned for Ella Hansen, starting with a West Coast / European swing.
Lucky. Or Leaky.
Frick. I don't know. Oh.
Yeah, this one's really hard for me.
Colin Hanley.
Yeah, Holland's won more than Ella, which I know is fine, but and Missy wins like all the money, but during that time period. Did Anakin
Colin's
Steen,
only won 1, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Ella
Ella's
won in the
won
same
more.
time period. All right, sorry, I'm like, can I pick Silva?
You sure
She
can.
won a lot of European ones. So she probably got more,
right.
but that's what I'm picking.
Okay, so we have Ella Hansen with $11,923 earned. Again, this is not on the full season. I feel like a broken record. I've said it too many times. European / West Coast swing. The closest is Silva Sardin with $11,144 earned. That might have been the best guess you could have made. I don't know. That's pretty amazing. Full 3 points go to Josh.
I'm just smiling because like that's like some luck. I had a few last week too.
That is great. You were still getting the 3 points with your first pick, Anakin.
I've always been a really good test taker without studying, so like just showing you all.
There you go. Holland Hanley's the next closest with 19,650. Quite a ways away, but closer than Licky Lorenzen, who's at 4,122.
I thought she's been doing all right lately.
Yeah. Bummer. I mean, I have this stat in here. I feel like I'd be awful at cash earned, especially in a certain subsection of the year. That's a hard one to guess. But points turn out to be Josh at 8, Ben at 7, Nick at 6. That was a close one. Again, I like this new format, and I think for people listening, especially audio listeners who aren't going to be able to write it down and look it up, I think a good way to play this game along with us is, as you hear all the names, you try to pick who you think's the closest. So Nick, Josh, Ben, and then of course Matt when he's back. You try to in real time think who's the closest, and then the more times you're with them, maybe the more points you can get at home. So hope that was good, and we'll get some music soon, Ben.
Yeah,
I think that'd be
awesome.
good.
Thank you for bringing a game that I'm undefeated in so far. I know officially last week that everybody tried to steal it, but you know.
Yeah, didn't Ben officially win last week with the?
Well, it depends. If official, unofficial. I don't know which side of the tracks we're on.
Allegedly, let's just say.
That's all right.
I
won. All right, that's fine with me. Everyone knows what really happened.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to talk a little European Open. We're going to segue to our picks as well. I just want to come right out and say, this is not unique to me. In some ways, I'm going to repeat what every other media person probably says. But when it comes to the majors, this is what I get excited about. Literally, I will consume the disc golf differently, right? This coming weekend, I will watch more, consume more, look for the interviews, listen to even other media outlets and their input. And to me, the stakes are so much higher. And I've long said this on all the different shows I've been in over the years. One of the biggest reasons why is because the players view it that way. And when the players view the major as most important, then that is the event that matters the most, because they're going to do everything they can to be on their A game. They're going to play their hardest. They're going to focus the most, right? They're trying to ramp everything up. You talked about momentum. This is true in MPO and FPO. And so when all the players are bringing their best, then you're going to get the event that matters the most. And so for me, that's always the majors, obviously world championships on the top of that pile. But so I'm just stoked. We talk disc golf every week, but for me, it's a different flavor, a different feeling in the air when majors come around. And so I am pumped and ready. We could probably do a lot of preview. If you all have any comments about the majors, go ahead. And then as soon as we're done, just talking a little bit about it, let's bring up our picks and say who we think's going to bring it down this weekend.
Well, I was going to say, like I said it earlier, I don't always love the Beast course. It is a fun course to watch, but I do always enjoy the excitement that tournament brings with the players. It seems like every single year there's a really, really good battle on. A few years ago with the Eagle and Paul, last year with the Corey and AB, years and years ago with Paul and Greg Barsby. I mean, it just seems like this tournament always comes down to a thriller. It's 4 rounds. It's a major. Everyone feels like they're on their A game. We've seen Eagle Park holes lefty. We've seen players rise up like Corey Ellis getting a first-time major winner. So the excitement around all that stuff is what I'm looking forward to the most. And then also seeing a new course involved with this tournament, I think is pretty sweet. And then President's Cup. Gotta love President's Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. President's Cups is a blast. It will start on Wednesday this year, and it's always interesting because it kind of shows up, and they play 9-hole kind of rounds, starting with stroke play and then match play, and then they team up, and based on your card or your match play match, you get points, and it's Team Europe versus Team USA. The history of it has been pretty straightforward, that it's Team USA has won every single time. It's held with the European Open as a major. So in 2006, 7, 9, 2010, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 20, 2022, and 2023. And Team USA has won every single one of those iterations. I know we're a bit biased being over here in the States. I want to take the side of a neutral in my position, but it's also hard not to root for the U.S. But Team Europe has made it exciting, especially in recent years. Last year, they were leading, and it came down to the last couple of holes before the Team USA snagged it back. And I feel like every single year we're seeing the differences in top skill, but also depth of players, getting slimmer and slimmer between the two continents. So that will start on Wednesday at the, I believe that's at the Nokia course. Yes, it is. And then for Thursday and Friday, we'll jump to Tampere disc golf, and then with Saturday and Sunday, the weekend rounds being at the European Open. Notably, Paul Macbeth has won this a number of years in a row. And it wasn't until 2022 when that streak got broken by Eagle McMahon with that epic duel between the two. And then, of course, we had Corey Ellis win it late last year. I think people will remember Anthony Barella on hole 16 entering in with the lead. And then, unfortunately, just missing the island many times in a row and falling down the leaderboard. Also, Calvin Heimberg was leading going into that final round. Ultimately did not come away with the win. It's going to bring the excitement, I think, Nick, as you said, no matter what. We'll see an exciting finish here. Last year, Kristen Tatar won the European Open, which I should have had this prepared. I'm so sorry, but I believe this event was the one that kind of gave her the career Grand Slam, as in it was her fourth different type of major, because she won Worlds in 2022. She won U.S. Women's back in 2018 or 19, and then won Champions Cup earlier that year. So this was the fourth one in the modern day of 4 FPO majors. So coming into 2024, I mean, we're not kidding ourselves. Kristen Tatar is likely the major favorite here. We'll see how our pop drop lock picks go. But then an MPO, I'll tell you this, I feel like it is completely open. I don't know where to go. I'll explain my picks when we get to it. But I think it'll absolutely be exciting in both divisions, even with the favorite of Kristen Tatar. It doesn't make it unexciting. I'm not Matt's take here. I love it. And it's not like Evelina Salonen is not having a great year, or Paige Pierce having a resurgent coming back from injury, or all the other names who are fighting week in and week out, who can certainly take down Kristen on any given week. But it's going to be an exciting one. And Josh, ditto on all the words you said about kind of major weeks. The feelings feel elevated. I think this course, I mean, notably, there are hundreds and thousands of fans on every single hole. It really brings that major feel with the amount of spectators on the course. And it's an exciting one. So
I'm pumped. I love majors.
Me too.
They make disc golf great.
I'm excited that's going to be on 2 separate courses. I think it'll be a cool switch up.
Very much agree.
Streaming this event, is this one of those events that it costs extra?
I believe this is I think it's considered a plus event, pro event,
yeah.
Pro event, excuse me. So yes, you will need DGN Pro. I don't know if it's for all 4 rounds.
Probably not really the first, but.
So it sounds like so nobody take our advice precisely because we don't know. However, we're pretty sure that you've got to pay for the full event coverage. So go out and look it up. I'm sure DGN's got the information. Sorry, unless somebody looks it up now, but I don't want to mislead anybody. But I'm pretty sure that's what's expected. And for all the hype around majors, whether you like that idea or not, I say it's worth doing it for the major event. Do it for 1 month, right? It'll be good.
All right, so I did quickly look it up, so we can actually give our viewers the facts in real time, although y'all are capable of smart and your own research. But here it is. This is a DGN Pro exclusive live event, and then as it was announced at the beginning of the 2024 season, complete coverage of the European Open is only available with Disc Golf Network's premium subscription tier, which is DGN Pro. DGN Basic and DGN Standard subscribers will still have access to the first round of tournament coverage, and then can upgrade in order to watch the rest of the rounds live. And then DGN Basic and Standard will receive access to replays of rounds 2 through 4 beginning 1 week after the event. So no post-production next day, even for Basic and Standard subscribers, but it will be coming soon.
Gotcha.
Very good.
Good to know.
All right, so we've got plenty of other things we could talk about, but we'll also break it down after the event, such as hole 16. We talked about it last week. You'll see some differences there. We see the 2 courses. Yeah, I'm still not thrilled about the change, but there's probably lots of factors going into it. So let's see how it plays out. And with that, let's go over our picks for this major event. second major for MPO, and I think our third major for FPO this year so far.
Exactly.
Right? We got.
So like Josh was just saying, this is our second MPO major. This is our third FPO major. They've had Champions Cup US Women's Disc Golf Championships, and then also now European Open. For the MPO side, it has been Champions Cup and now the European Open. Thanks to Hooligan Discs. If you guys play along and you are the number one winner, you're going to get some free Hooligan Discs swag. We will hit you up about it. So shout out to them. Shout out to to Josh and Ben wearing their hats right now. That could be one of the items that gets shipped out to you. But yeah, shout out Hooligan Discs. So if you want, Ben, click the button.
All right, so we got Nick's picks. And
my pop,
looks like I gotta change some things because you've been picking terrible, and I need it. No, I'm just kidding.
So it's off of ratings. So I'm hoping, like, I almost went with AB being my pop and my lock for this event, but I didn't know how many AB picks I had left, which apparently I had plenty. But anyways, I think Ricky is still a phenomenal pick. So my pop is Anthony Barella on the MPO side. My drop is Bradley Williams. And my lock is Ricky Wysocki. I think he's going to get a major after it has been so long from him getting a major. I think this is his weekend to do it. My pop for the FPO side is Katie Tati. Hannah Blumroos is my drop. And my lock is Big Money Missy Gannon.
Because you don't have Kristen. That makes sense.
No, you're saving one.
Huh?
Oh, okay. You're saving one.
I'm saving. Yeah.
Okay. For Worlds, you did say that.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt almost picked my pop. I almost picked that for my pop, but I'll just say it. Marcus Fjordtoft is Matt's pop. I almost picked that. Drop, he's picking Nate Sexton. Lock, Calvin Heimberg. He likes Calvin. And pop, Sonia Line. Drop, Missy Gannon. Lock, Kristen Tatar. That's a solid lineup. I think that's a good pick.
Lock and Calvin Heimberg. For Matt, that's exciting. So
be a first time major.
So I switched up. I was at Marcus Fjordtoft, but now I'm Arvid Akensson for my pop. He's just a little lower rated, and a little more potential for him to pop. Yeah, dropping Chris Dickerson just solely because he's like very highly rated, 1043. Just playing the odds. Lock Ricky Wysocki, because I think he can get at least a top 10. Popping Amanda Lennartson. She's like the second lowest rated player we can pick, and I like what I saw, and I hope she keeps it up. Drop Ellen Hansen again. She's just very highly rated, so just playing the odds. And lock, I'm going with Kristen. She hasn't won so far when I've picked her, which is only for majors, so. See what she got.
Foolproof strategy right there.
Yes, sir. Isn't it foolproof? Isn't that the actual word?
No, foolproof. I think you're right. I misspeak all the time, so apologies.
Well, Matt said foolproof too. That's why I think everyone's been saying foolproof. That's why I've been.
I thought.
What was the difference? You were just saying how it's pronounced.
I'm kind of saying foolproof, like FULL.
Oh, it's definitely FOOL.
Yeah,
it's
foolproof.
Yeah.
Like I ain't no fool.
That's right. But some people pronounce that fool. I don't know.
My
picks are Kevin Jones, who last time people picked him for pop, it was devastating for them. So I'm going for it. Come on, Kevin. Drop Simon Lizotte.
Ooh.
And, yep.
The local lad.
Yeah, it's interesting though, right? 1044 rating. We'll see. He hasn't always really brought it home out there. So I don't know. And then Calvin Heimberg for the lock. Also, first time major, as Nick said. So that'd be a big deal for Calvin with a really strong performance, right, for many years here to pull home a major. For my pop, I have Kaidi Al-Salou. Drop Hannah Blomroos and her close friend to win it, Evelina, over Kristen. Partly because I can no longer pick Kristen, but also because, well, actually I can. I've picked Kristen 4 times, but I am also saving.
Wait for Worlds.
So, but I think Evelina very well could get the win out here. She's shown us this year, a little inconsistent here and there, but I mean multiple wins on the season, so it's not a stretch. All right, Evan, what you got?
All right. So I got Ezra Aderhold as my MPO pop. Finished on the podium here last year as only top 10 at a major in his career. But this feels like the place. It just, I don't know, it feels like the course for him.
But
And
now we have courses.
yeah, that's actually true. That's a good point.
You already picked it.
We'll see how I already picked him. No, not changing. I still have full confidence in him. But his rating, what is it? 1025. It's a little lower than I expect. Where he can definitely play at a higher level. But of course, it's a rating he could play at a lower level. But I'm taking it as a pop because I fully believe. And then I have Matt's drop picks as normal. And then an FPO pop. I'm going Maria Elde Cristianador. I just keeping the same one from last week. Not a foolproof strategy, but I am confident in her abilities. Swedish Open just really, really got me on her radar, or got her on my radar. Whoa, that'd be interesting.
You're a married man.
Oh no, not like that. My stats are just impressive, so I don't know. Yeah. But she got a lot of points last week, so I like where it's at, and she sees like someone who's on the rise. So I think it's a good safe pick for pop when it is that hard to do it, even though Ben thinks it's easy. But then into my locks,
so easy, bro. So easy.
I thought it was going to be like 3 or 4 of us picking Anthony Barella for our MPL lock. I feel like it's almost like the too obvious pick. Like, yeah, he almost won it last year, and now like it was almost his first like big win, and now he's won 4 Elite Series events this year, and he's going for his first major at the place where he almost had it and it barely slipped out. It feels too obvious, but at the same time, it feels obvious. So I think he's I said this earlier. I feel like he's hungry. I think this is. He's hungry for it. He wants it, but then he also can be composed because he has 4 wins this year. He knows what it takes to win. He's like the nerves of winning. I don't think are going to they're not going to creep up in hole 15, 16, 17. I think he has the confidence. He knows he's been there. He's done it. He knows he clutches up. I think that's enough to overcome what happened here last year. And then
they softened hole 16, so that plays right.
Sure. And then in FPO, Kristen Tatar. This is my very first time picking her as my lock. I feel like this is the lockest I've ever wanted to pick somebody. How she turned it on at the Krokhol Open was insane. The utter dominance. She won here last year. I have complete and full confidence, but there's still a little doubt. Evelina Salonen, Missy Gannon, Paige Pierce, Henna Blommer is looking for her first major. There's lots of potential, but this is the place. I can't hold the 5 picks any longer. I would, if I only had 1 pick left, I would still pick it here. You guys are, I know, saving it for Worlds, but at the same time, I feel like I might want to pick it here after a 6-stroke win. Yeah. So anyways, picking Kristen Tatar and feeling pretty confident with it.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. So listeners, get out there, pick it yourself. This is a major weekend. If you're going to do one event, do it. You're going to watch and pay attention to the event regardless. It's fun to have a little, I'm going to call it a side bet, even though I don't know if we're betting, but you can bet your friends and get out there and pick. It's a fun thing to watch. And just like playing fantasy sports, it's kind of a secondary way to participate. So get out there, pop, drop, lock. Thank you to Hooligan Discs for sponsoring this segment. And I don't know, hopefully I come out on top this week. We'll see. That's the plan.
Yeah, I got to make up some points here.
Yeah.
Really quick, because we're doing this whole tournament in the European swing on ratings. Quick shout out to Casey White, who just crested the 1030 mark. Obviously, first ever player out of Massachusetts to do that. Pretty insane. Someone that we all know very, very well. Casey and I started playing probably roughly around the same time. I mean, 2016, 2017 area. I don't know if there was a 1,000 rated player in Massachusetts, like from Massachusetts prior to that. But anyways, 1030 rated. Shout out Casey White. He's having a kick-ass European swing as well. So I wish him the absolute best of luck at the European Open.
There we go. Let's go, Casey.
Yep, awesome.
I almost picked him as my pop too. I was like, dude, if Casey just
he's been on a tear.
No, but his rating's so good though.
I know.
Yeah, he's been on a tear.
Right, that's the hard part is he's performing so well that it's hard to actually like bet on that average. Yeah.
The winners are usually averaging like 1080 at this event. So that's why I was like, okay, if AB pops off and if he somehow wins it, then that's like a ton of points right then and
Yeah,
there.
it'd be like
But
60
Ricky just had
points or something.
such a great performance that like you kind of feel like you have to lock him in on it. But
Yeah, but almost 7 years for Ricky since he's last won a major.
dude, that's nuts.
It's nuts, and it's someone who like has. If you look at the longevity of just like best player, like best skills, best scores throughout the last 5 years, 5 years, maybe more, I feel like it's hard to argue that anyone has been better than Ricky. But the one looming factor is in that period that I just named, 5 years, no majors. And his last major was 2017. And he has 6 majors compared to what Paul McBeth at 17, I believe.
Yeah.
And with Climo at 18. The 17-6 ratio, like that's not a good ratio if you're Rick, but his skill has been so high through all of this and winning so many Elite Series events, being player of the year in a number of those years. Like he's won huge events. He's won the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship with ginormous cash prizes. He's done it all, and he's finished incredibly well at the majors. I would have to pull it up real quick, but like his worst finish at majors, I think, has been 12th in that time period.
Wow.
Since his last major win. I'll look it up real quick before I stop talking, but it's incredible the consistency he has at the majors, yet to not have a win in this kind of later stage disc golf era. So yeah. His last major was 2017. His last major win, excuse me, was 2017 Worlds in June. So it has been a full 7 years since that, and his worst finish in that has been 12th, which is Worlds last year, and then also the European Open 2 years ago in 2022. So being top 12 in every single major you've played since 2014, that's unreal. And it's not that this guy can't show up at majors. It's just that he's not getting the win done. And then I don't want to stop any comments if we have any in Rick, but I also want to mention Calvin Heimberg, who has the most Elite Series wins in MPO without a major win, looking for his first major win, of course, by that statement, and was leading, as I said earlier, he was leading into the final round of European Open last year. And he wants to get that first win. I mean, the Matts of the world who maybe doubt his ability to win, he's proven he can do it at the Elite Series level, and there's no doubt anymore about that. But there certainly has to be some level of doubt at the majors on how well he can perform to get those wins.
Yeah. No doubt. Like I said, I'm excited for it. This is the week where you pony up a couple extra bucks, you get this pro subscription to DGN, and you watch an awesome tournament. But it's a European event, so it's tough to watch it live because you got to wake up hella early just to watch the FPO. And then at least MPO is like it starts usually around 9 or 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and so you got to find a way to carve some time out of work. You got to watch MPO and then come back and don't get any spoilers and watch FPO. Yeah. Or you can be hardcore and just get up. What is it, like 3, 4 a.m.? I mean,
3, 4 a.m. Yeah.
The nice thing too, East Coast. It's really an East Coast early, or maybe mega early. Wakers, Northwest do go in the U.S., but East Coast, it's like if you wake up at like 6:30, or even 7, like you can wake up and like as you're half awake, you can watch like the final couple of holes. Like, yeah, you want to watch the whole thing. That's where all the excitement is in the buildup. But you at least can just wake up and boom, you got live disc golf.
So you can do like this. I'll take FPO coverage. I'll wake up super early, and this is my excuse, is I'll put one monitor will be FPO coverage, and the other monitor will be Overwatch 2, and I'll just play video games from like 3 a.m. to 7.
Oh, yeah, then you can justify it.
Sleep a couple hours.
Quick power nap.
Yep.
And then, bam, we got MPO coverage going on. So, if anything, it's a perfect win-win.
Yeah, you can justify it. It's research for your job. You got to do it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's a tax write-off. Just buy another monitor, get 3 monitors if you want, and then you can do other things at the same time. But
yeah, you gotta have scores up.
Yeah,
you gotta have the live broadcast up.
Exactly.
And then you gotta have you gotta have Overwatch up.
I got it. Yep. Yeah, been on the Overwatch kick lately.
Nice.
It's been fun.
With Padres pitcher Dylan Cease.
What's that?
With Padres pitcher Dylan Cease.
What do you mean?
What, with Overwatch?
I mean, does he play? I thought that's what you said.
Oh, no. I just play Overwatch by myself. My brother and I play sometimes, so it's cool a little way. But
for some reason I thought you said you played with Dylan.
Fortnite guy.
No, we used to play Fortnite.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, we used to jam out.
Yeah.
Which shout out Dylan. Just pitched an incredible game. Like 11 strikeouts, 6 or 7 innings pitched. Like absolutely insane. And then shout out to the GOAT,
Slider,
Paul.
oh,
Happy
slide.
belated birthday. It was his
Yes,
birthday
that's right.
recently, so happy birthday.
Happy
him.
birthday, Pablo.
He will say it is his Shaq Kobe year now. He is 34 in the year 2024.
Paul Pierce.
So,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. So,
Paul
anyways,
Pierce and
I
Jeff
think,
Gordon.
do we have anything else going on
No,
tonight?
I think that's it. I mean, obviously, like
Really
we could
quick,
keep talking
before
European
we
Open,
end
but let's
it,
bring it home.
Before we end it, wild disc golf story. Parker Welk, Kansas City wide open. You can put us all back up, Ben.
Oh, I thought you were giving us a news report.
Yeah, no, it's just fun to get everyone's reaction though in person. But like, dude's car got stolen out in Kansas City. Okay, Evan texted us like the morning of. It was like got his disc stolen. I was like, bro, the whole car got stolen. Like, who cares
Discs
about
are
the
in the
discs? The
car.
man's car. Like, and I'm pretty sure he was like minivanning it with a bed in the minivan. Like straight up, that was his touring vehicle.
That's ridiculous.
So it gets stolen. Okay, and someone else's who he doesn't even know. Someone else's Kia also gets stolen that week. He somehow finds his car. I have no idea how. Maybe he had like an Apple tag or something like that in it. He finds his car, but then the owner of the other car that was stolen also found their car. In the other stolen person's car was Parker's disc golf bag. So the Kansas City wide community hooked Parker up with a bunch of discs, like DJA and some Discraft, so he could finish out the tournament. And I think the dude was on like the lead card too, so that's even worse. It's like he's throwing all brand new discs round 2. And then for maybe round 3, or maybe it was after round 3. This part I'm not 100% sure on. But like, dude literally got all of his discs back. But he found his car, and the whole thing was like completely trash. The door handle was ripped off. Like, everything was pretty much stolen out of it. So that sucks. Don't get me wrong.
Catalytic
That is
converter?
awful. Yeah, probably. But
Wow.
somehow, some way, got his Squatch bag back with all of his discs.
I was going to say getting it back, but it wasn't even in his car that was stolen. It was in someone else's.
No, it was in
stolen
the
car.
other person's car that was stolen. And
That's crazy.
no, yeah. Anyways, go look at Parker. I don't know if there were just stories or if he actually made a legitimate post about it, but you can go check him out on Instagram, Disco, and kind of get an idea of that story. But shout out to the Kansas City community for helping him out, getting him a bunch of brand new discs, maybe even some used ones for him to be able to throw. Super awesome of all of you people out there. Pretty great. Disc golf communities are pretty freaking awesome. So without further ado, thank you, everybody.
By the way,
Yeah,
how did he finish at the event?
I think 7th.
All right, so I mean that's
I
still.
think
a
it was
pretty
still a
competitive
respectable
score.
finish.
You are correct.
Dude, those courses must have been ridiculously hard because Drew Gibson won it
People were saying
shooting
really hard.
9 down overall.
9 down. Yeah.
Over 3 rounds, 9 down overall. So
9
very
down,
similar.
1038 event.
Yeah.
So average of 3 down per round.
Yeah, he shot even. Oh no, he shot 3 down the final round. Excuse me.
Yeah,
shot
he went
3
2,
down the
4,
final
3.
round to go into a playoff versus GT Hancock, who was leading the event, the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, well, it's a long course, par 67.
Yeah,
Bad Rock Creek Disc Golf, so 10,581 feet. So
shout out
congrats to
Lisa
Drew.
Fakis winning over Owen Scoggins by 1 stroke. That's awesome. Good for her.
Yeah, Lisa Fakis. I feel like it's been a minute since she's gotten an
Since
A-tier
she's been in the
win.
winner's circle that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let me see. Her last win was 2021, which was an A-tier, so it satisfies both questions I had. But yeah, about 3 years since her last win, and now she's back in an A-tier win, and an A-tier win over Owen Scoggins, who wins like every A-tier on any week. The Disc Golf Pro Tour is not playing in the United States. That's a good win.
Not too
There were
shabby.
a number of cool events. I don't want to do a full recap, but I mean, Kale LaVisca won the Silver Cup
in a
at
playoff.
Wisconsin. That was an original in a playoff. You're right. Yeah. That was an original Disc Golf Pro Tour event in 2016.
Yeah.
Now just been an A-tier. And Abigail Wilson, a Wisconsin native, wins an FPO. And then want to mention the Circle One Maine Classic, somewhat up in our neck of the woods. Yeah, the Maine Classic up in Maine. Andrew Marweed, 10-stroke victory.
Dominated.
Over Harry Chase, friend of the show, tied for second along with Josh DiBattista. And then Karen Martel out of Quebec, coming down from Canada to win in Maine. And then I had one more, which was the Illinois State Disc Golf Championship, the 42nd one at that. And Gavin Rathbun, who's having a fantastic year on tour.
Fantastic year.
Getting B tier, but a state championship. So
it's a solid B tier, though.
Feels like a little bit more than a B tier victory. And Lexi Marks, who's all the way from Peru, Peru, Illinois, that is. I had to make that joke.
Damn.
So, yeah.
You actually got me on that. I hate you.
Yeah. So, yeah. It was sitting right there for me. That's always cool. I love cities and towns, which are, random countries or like Rome or whatever. So.
Exactly. Everybody, thank you for tuning into episode 197 of Staggered Stance. Thank you to Josh, Evan, and Ben for keeping the fort down with us while Matt is traveling. Shout out to Matt and his boys. Good luck at the Junior World Disc Golf Championships. There's like 19 different countries being represented and like 490 plus players, like absolute insanity. So shout out to all of them. Huge shout out to Coral and Clara Watson. They are lifetime members here at Olympus. They are also out there, and I think Clara just won doubles worlds. Her father Robert, wicked good dude, great friend of mine out here in Florida now. So shout out to them. Shout out to anyone else that is playing the Junior World Championships. I'm pretty sure Leighton Brinster, son of USDGC winner Steve Brinster, is also out at that event. So shout out to all the kids. Stay hydrated, stay healthy, have a kick-ass time, make memories out there. Shout out to all you guys tuning in on another Monday night. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Tell someone you love them this week, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you later.
Peace.